Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls around the world, I am here with the one, the only, can't duplicate, can replicate. So that means he's one of a kind. The Obi Lowkey Williams, my man. How are you doing?
Sir, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, brother. I know we had a chance to chat in the green room. Again, I want to share my thanks, share that appreciation for you being on the show, bro. Again, you came so highly recommended, and having a chance to look through, I stalked your Instagram a bit.
Yeah,
I did a little sneaky in there, and I was like, dude, he's just so talented, wonderfully talented. So I'm super stoked that you're here, brother. So thank you, man.
thank you for having me, man. This is like um I'm very grateful. I don't take anything for granted. I make sure every connection I make is one that is put me on a path that I'm supposed to be on. So I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah, dude, in the wide on all these wide rugged roads of the multiversal dance life, bro, we come across a lot of people, and I am always, likewise, I'm always very appreciative when my road intersects and connects with some other people. Uh and just taking that moment to, I think especially in like the Instagram social media space, we get so, got to post this video, got to post this photo shoot, got to post this, got to post this. And who we are kind of gets lost in translation, right? Or kind
Yeah,
of buried underneath the view count and the likes count and the comments and the shares. So please, if you may, let everybody know who you are, what you do, where you're from, and then we'll go from there.
absolutely. So my name is Obi Williams. Dance name is Lowkey. I got that from I gave myself that name mainly because I kind of stay very to myself. Very introverted upbringing, very to myself. And it's also a play on the character Loki in Marvel. I'm a big fan of Marvel, so it was like a little play on words there. But yeah, I'm from originally from born Jersey, but I kind of in between Jersey and New York. So that's originally where I'm from, East Coast. All my family is there. My friends, my everyone that I came up with dancing was over there on the East Coast. But yeah, I'm a dancer. My main style is flexing. That's my tried and true, my bread and butter, as you would say. And yeah, I just love what I do. I perform, battle, you name it. I try to dabble in any area that allows me to grow and meet new people, or just get my art and my craft out there. I don't take any, whether it's small, big, no matter what it is. I always try to do my best to get in front of people because I think that's the core of what we do as dancers. It is to share with people. That's the whole point. I think that gets lost a lot of times, of just like the sharing part, the
Mm-hmm.
actual like face to face, the interactions, the inspiration. That's a big thing for me. So, but yeah, that's me right now.
So I truly appreciate all of my East Coast people, right? Uh, I was born in Virginia. I moved to California here as a young boy, and then moved back to the East Coast in North Carolina and spent a good chunk of my youth there. And that is kind of how I found dancing. Everybody's gonna watch this. You've heard the story a million times. Um, but pop locking at the skating rink on a Friday night in middle school, and then America's Best Dance Crew came out in like 2007, 2008, and it just Showtime at the Apollo. These were like shows we watched on television, not Netflix or friggin' Hulu.
Yeah.
uh how did you find Dan, or better, how did it find you? How did you get introduced to, because flexing, I'm gonna ask you more questions about that as well, but flexing, I would say, is kind of like subculture-ish, kind of like krump. It's not your basic popping, locking, and b-boying. It was something that came kind of afterwards, if I'm not misspeaking. How did you find that? Or again, where did it find you? How did you step into the dance world?
Absolutely. Love that question. Funny enough, I lived in Virginia for most of my middle school. It was like Petersburg, Virginia, for
Okay.
most of like middle school. And that's when I like discovered dance, right? It was Jabberwocky season one, ABDC. So I saw them, their PYT. I'll never forget their PYT set. They did a Michael
Oh,
Jackson tribute. I'll never forget that. And it was I tried to learn the choreography. Like all I could get down was their one of their waves. And from then on, I was sold on dance. I said, I love this thing. I just kept imitating at first until I was like maybe like 19, 20. And then I actually started like freestyling, learning my own, watching like Late Twins, like most people do, Late Twins, Friction, Schizo. Like I just was on the end of like watching YouTube and just diving into the world of like, whoa, that's cool. I want to learn that. Um, and then flexing found me when I moved to Brooklyn, New York, around pandemic. So 2020, that's when I like started really learning from. I learned from King Havoc, if you know
okay,
Havoc.
yep.
Also learned from people like Cal, Cal Creek, shout out to Cal, shout out to Reem, learned from him a little bit, learned from Kwame. So all the my big bros from back in New York, I learned from them. And I just felt like I did hip hop animation ish initially because of like, like twins and fiction and whatnot. But it was really flexing that felt like home. Like that was my like, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. Because I dabbled in crump, I
Mm,
dabbled in popping, I dabbled in light feet, I dabbled for like joke. I think joking was like the longest. I took like an online class. Shout out Daniel Price. Learned from him for about 8 months online. But then I found flexing a little bit after that. So around pandemic, and that was it. Like I was like, this is home. I still use my vocabulary, of course, but flexing is just it just to me it was like I'm gonna be a nerd for a bit, but it was kind of like you find your partner Pokemon, like you find like your
yeah.
like the heart of the cards. It was like, oh yeah, this is like my like it was like that. So yeah, I love it so much. So you can put it on any song, any media, any platform, and that doesn't mean you can't do it on any other style. But for me, that was my like I can use this to express how I need to express. So that's why I love it so much. Yeah.
So for somebody who's watching who may have never seen it before or ever experienced it, how would you describe that style of flexing?
It's funny. I get asked this and I can never find a word. The best way I can put it is two things, right? It's identity and rawness, right? And I know it's very abstract, but the best way I can explain it is that flexing to me fits the user, right? It's however you want to use it. It has endless possibilities. It can go from interpreting music lyrics, it can go from creating your own world and bringing people into that world. I've seen flexers like man, I've seen flexes bring like props that you wouldn't think of, like actual live birds or like lab coats and like just it's like whatever world you want to bring. I've seen them bring like Dragon Ball Z to life. Like it's what literally whatever you think of, like flexing. They don't limit themselves, and that's just the culture of it, right? It came up from people watching The Matrix, Dragon Balls, the anime, and they would just incorporate it into their lives, even what you see on the streets, like a lot of like violence and whatnot. They would bring it into flexing as well. So that's why I say that the rawness and the individuality of it is like the biggest thing. The closest thing I can put like putting a name to it to help viewers kind of get a grasp is like it's like you mix animation with body movement, and depending on your style, you can have floor work, you can have your connecting, which is like tutting. They have a style called pausing, which is kind of like akin to popping. The closest thing I would say to like popping. So there's just so many different subcategories of flexing. That's why it's hard to put it in like a box, like So, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, words to me are they're like concept prisons, right? There's like these concepts that we're trying to explain, and we entrap it in this word, and it just never really gives it justice.
Mm,
Um, yeah, shout out King Havoc, because every time I watch him dance, I'm like, and I mean, I know you probably relate with this, where it's like you hear a song at a session or even at the club or whatever, and you're like, I don't know how I would dance this quite.
mm,
Like this is odd. But I watch King Havoc and the song comes on, I'm like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to dance to this.
yeah,
That right there, he is just, big shout out to him and everything that he does. Um, he just has such an ear for sound and
yeah,
his movements. Like I'm so ignorant to the style, but I appreciate it as if I'm a master. I I just understand talent. Like I just understand I can't do that. I could hear this music and I don't quite understand like the foundation or the names of this,
hmm
but I know that was hard, bro. Like that was crazy what you got. Like even watching some of your videos, I'm like, wow, bro. Like the way that you're hitting the music and coming in and out of it, and then just your portrayal of like your style. If you could describe your own style, or even like what are some of the things that you pull from, what would you name it, or where are those inspirations coming from?
uh, ooh, love that question. And before I answer that, I have to go back real quick because if any of my big brothers in flexing watch this, they're gonna kill me for not mentioning this. Flexing does have dance hall origins.
Okay.
A lot of flexing originated from dance hall culture. So the songs that came from Jamaica, the mixes that they would mix the songs as well, and then just the overall body movement of a lot of dance hall grooves. They kind of just took that as the foundation almost and chopped it up almost, or chopped it up, remixed it, just like made it into its own entity. So that, and you'll see a lot of dance hall grooves in some flexors as well. And you can kind of see it's just so varying in the range that you can see it in some, and you can see like like that's a dance hall groove. It's like, nah, it's chopped up. You can't really recognize it, but it's like that's just the beauty of it. So I just wanted to mention that real quick before they watch this and they kill me. But yes, for my style, I think I always had an affinity for the floor. When I look at old videos before I was in flexing, I see myself gravitating towards like floor movement. And in flexing, we have a style called get low. And when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's the one. That's it. That's me. And so for me, I draw a lot of inspiration from Havoc, from Reem. Reem created the style of Get Low. Shout out to Reem. And I had to obviously find my own identity within it. So for me, as far as music goes, I'm lyrical. I'm very much like I love wordplay, battle rap, things like that. So I like to like interpret lyrics in ways that you wouldn't really think that there's singing them like that or rapping like that. But I would like to challenge and push the envelope and see like how far can I get away with remixing the word key or the word like love or the word like what and how is the artist saying the word, how are they singing it, how are they how are what's the nuances, what does the what do the instruments, how do they complement the word. So I'm very heavily, because my friends and my people will tell you I'm like I'm heavy punchlines. If I know a song like from A to Z, like I'm gonna throw some punchlines in there. And I think that side of music is what drove my style. It's very like character. So I'll throw some character in there. I won't just dance the word, I'll act it. So I like to even for like a month I was looking into like acting classes, just like facial expressions, things like that to get to be able to portray the lyrics as well. Because I do believe that When certain artists sing, you feel that. Like you probably heard a song and you're like
Mm-hmm.
it gets you right there. I kind of want the dance to be able to do that too. So not only are you hearing the song, you're kind of seeing the song. I want to be able for you to see the song the way I hear the song, if that makes sense. So those are like my driving factors when I'm labbing or when I'm working on my craft or performing, things like that. And I love beats. I love instruments. The little back, like the littlest of ones, the ones I know like no one else hears, but I hear it, so I just want to hit it. Things like that. So that's what I would say like drives my style the most.
Yeah, there was like a study that I had read about, like, it was music and emotional triggers,
Hmm.
and it was very keen to where it's like that's why that song, hits you in a certain way, or how certain songs can take you back to a time where you may have been in a certain emotional state, right? Whether it's sad, happy, angry, whatever it might be. And so I really do try to push myself, and I know you've probably even faced this faced this challenge as a dancer, right? And particularly freestyling is like we have to learn how to dance to every song like it's our favorite.
Hmm.
And so with some of these songs I've never heard before in my life, so I'm like, oh no. And so I really try to dig deep into like, what is this emotion that it's bringing out of me? Where am I? Like, what
Hmm.
is this place? How am I even, like even like a quick, you step out into the session, you got milliseconds before you need to start dancing. It's like
Hmm.
that check in, like a real quick. And so now I make sure to even before I step out there and I hear the song and the circle starting to call me, it's like, wait, but where am I? Like, where am I in this whole thing? Because yeah, very similar to you, I try to pull from all the different spaces that I might be in or have came from to to drive what I'm doing in the circle. Because I'm not a shoe trick guy. I'm not a hat trick dude. I dance just all body. I'm just all body. Body art. Uh, that's dope. That's dope. It's really cool too to hear that I've had some um I've had some pleasures of being around a good amount of Jamaicans in my travels, like out in Florida and stuff.
Hmm.
And man, I love just watching them dance. Just get out there and just start breaking it down. Man, man, I was like, yes, let's go. Like, let's go. So yeah, to see that flexing has that root there, it just makes even more sense now to me.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the
so
music. It's the music too. Like it's really like the music. I don't know. Like there. So we have real quick. We have flex tunes, like the FDM flex dance music,
mhm.
and have dance hall rhythms, right? And the rhythms are like, man, I'll play just like yesterday. I was just playing a whole playlist, and it just makes you move differently than you would a flex tune. And I know a lot of flexes will say the same thing. Like it's like the rawness of it. It's like your home.
Mm.
It's like back to the basics when it's like that good. Oh, it's like hearing like an old school '90s R&B song or like '90s rap. It's just like that your mom was playing when like when they were cleaning. Like it's like whatever like your home is for any culture that you're in. It's like that like for dance almost. And it's always funny how music can really drive like so many things. Like you said, like the studies and not just emotions, but just like it's almost like an entire culture in and of itself, but that branches out to so many different things. Like it's just I just wanted to touch on that real quick.
Yeah, no, that's a wonderful explanation on some of that. And I think I liked earlier you were saying, I still use my vocabulary, and I love the way that you described that, right, of your dancing. and the way, in a way, I like to tell people that, you know, we are dancers, and dance is a universal language,
Mm-hmm.
and some of us speak very similar languages. Some of us have an accent, some of us speak a smaller different dialect, and some of us speak, in sign language. Some of us speak through, certain interpretations, you know, like I've met kids who knew like 4 or 5 languages, right? And it was really cool to listen to them because they would talk and speak all these languages at once, depending kind of on what they were trying to do or get across.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, even for myself, right, I can watch a flexor not know a single thing, like the get low. Like, I couldn't tell you. But
Mm-hmm.
if they're doing it and it's tight, I know I can watch and see and I understand, BPMs. I understand the 8 counts. I understand this and this and this because in my own language, this is something that you have to know. These are things that you have to understand, whether it's in crump, poppin', hip hop choreography. Like if you can't get your head bouncing to the music, you're going to be in a world of trouble. Um, so yeah, I really do believe strongly, and I really liked that use of that word vocabulary. Um, that everything, even though it kind of stands on its own, right? Like it still has this shared source, right? Like flexin music still has this source and this other shared foundation with dancehall, or
Mm-hmm.
this, but it still has this foundation and source from over here. That's amazing. So how old would you say roughly, or yeah, how old would you say were you roughly when you first stepped out onto a dance floor compared to when you found flexing? What was that journey like? What was the length of that?
When I first stepped out onto a dance floor, that had to been college. My college dance team. I was on. I did choreo. I dabbled in choreo for pretty much all of college. And then that was my first time actually like doing dance, like on a stage, like on an actual like thing. Um, that was my platform, and I was like 18, yeah, like 18, 19. I was like 19, and then 19 all the way down to just during that time, I was saying I was dabbling in hip hop and whatever I could imitate online.
Mm-hmm.
For what was it, like 7 years? I would say like six, seven
Okay.
years. On flexing pandemic. I started 2021. I founded 2020, but I started 2021. Uh, so yeah, that would have been, I've been like 26. Yeah, like 26, 27. So yeah, about a 7 year gap. About a 7 year gap. I was going from just like my own thing, choreo a little bit, and then into flexing. Um, but those, it was such a like stark contrast. Um, and this is like this goes to the topic. I don't know if you've, I'm sure you talked on it before, where it's like having a home versus like kind of finding yourself, like the growing pains of like finding your style, finding your home, not knowing what you want and like. It's kind of like I equate to like dating, finding your significant other, finding your husband, your wife, like finding like what you like in a like finding out what you don't want to eat as a kid. Like, I don't like this food, I like this food. It's like with dance, I was like I said, I was dabbling in hip hop, locking, popping, juking, and it wasn't until I found flexing that I started winning battles. I started, getting gigs, and I started to kind of see like the growing pains of okay, now I found a style. Now I have to find myself within the style. So like I found
Mm-hmm.
now I got to find my own place in the home. I found my community. I have to find where I belong in the community. So once I started flexing, the first year, 2 years, I think my work ethic spoke for itself. Where I was like learning quickly. I was, doing pretty well. I was winning battles. Even people in the community were like, "Yo, you're growing pretty fast." And then I kind of let that get to my head a bit, because now when I plateaued, I was like, "Man, I'm not getting any better. Like, what do I do?" And so that's when I had my own little flex crisis, like just like mentally trying to figure out like, okay, like what do I do? Because if I do this, I would have the fear of like, okay, maybe this isn't flexing. If I do this, maybe it's I'm looking at too much like havoc, or if I do this, maybe. So I started having a lot of like self-conscious thoughts that prevented my growth until I just leaned in on what I like. I didn't care
Mm.
about what imaginary thoughts or people might be saying. It was more so like, what is my heart saying? Or what do I want to go with this style? What do I want to do? What do I want to say? What story do I want to tell? When I leaned in on that, oh yeah, it was like now no one could tell me anything. Like even on my quote unquote bad days, I still have fun. I'm still myself. I still I'm still willing to share what I do with whoever is willing to, receive it. And if they're not, it doesn't make me feel less of a dancer or less of a flexer. I'm still whole, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, I uh I feel that on a molecular level, right? Going through choreo, and when I first started, I can still remember, watching Philip Shabib versus Robert Moraine on So You Think You Can Dance. I still remember sitting down in front of, for me, it was the Funky Town set from Jabberwockies, and
Mm,
just being glued. And they did the last the Little John track at the end where homie was doing the windmill and they were running through the crowd. I was like, that is like, there was something so tangible there that I wanted in my life, right? And I think I really resonated, especially with that performance, because it was like the masks. It was the mask on, running through a crowd. You don't know who's who, and they were hidden behind this obscene amount of talent. And it was just like, damn, if I could just, I know I could practice enough, and if you just put me in the right direction, I can get there. I could do that.
mhm.
I've always kind of had that part, and I think every dancer, especially battlers, have to have that little bit of a dog in them. Like, I could do that too, bro. Just let me practice enough. Um, and so traveling, in the nomadic journey of dance, going from this choreo team, I'm with them for a while, and then I joined this choreo team. I was with them for a while. Uh, I found, I wouldn't say like my home, but it was definitely a really nice apartment with Academy of Villains. I was with them for a while, man, and I feel like I was not in a place I felt that truly appreciated my talent, but I appreciated the uniformity in their hard work.
Mhm.
Everybody did the push-ups. Everybody did burpees. Nobody was excluded. We all got chewed out. We all went through the ringer. No favorites. That was really and I took that in big time. Uh, and then finding Crump, it was like, yeah, like I like this. Like, this is,
Mhm.
I had, like all of us, we see Rise and this, and I was glued. And that's what got me into watching Showtime at the Apollo. That's what got me into watching like all these different shows, America's Got Talent and all this stuff. It was watching Rise, and then watching, Chris Brown popped out of fucking nowhere, and he was like just doing this dance. It's like, oh, that's that thing. That's the thing, right? The crump thing. That's that thing. Okay, cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
Uh, Going to the 818s, finally dancing. But there was like a moment when like I danced, people cheered. I was like, I know you could relate to like some of those first sessions. You get in, you get out, and it's like, oh shit, I actually danced. You don't even
Mhm.
remember what you did, but
Yep.
you did it, right?
Yeah.
I remember, I can almost still remember walking out of that circle and be like, yo, I remember I did this move, and then I did this thing, and then I did one of those. Like, damn, like I was present. Like I guess that's the best way to put it is like I was so present, and that's what I knew. Like this is home. This is where I will reside and settle in. Was there what was your moment for flexing? What was the moment when you did it and you said, it's time to unpack the bags, boys. We're moving in. We're here now.
I remember, like, it's so funny you asked that because I don't think I've ever been asked that question. I've only thought about the moment because it was a clear as day moment. It was like, so I must have been maybe like 3, 4 months in. This is like back in New York, and it was a big session. It was Havoc, it was Cal, Jabari, shout out Jabari, he was there. Um, all of our crew at the time, plus like maybe like 10 other people. It was a big session, right? And then we had one of our OGs, his name is Jadon, shout out Jadon, and it was just we just had like a battle, like just like we were just battling. Like, well, that's flexing. Flexing is like it's just anytime, any place. Like you just gotta be ready. And we went. Everyone did battles and whatnot. I did mine against my homie Trey, and it went from that to like session. Like it was just like sessions. We have these things called two mans where it's just like two people just go and they feed off, they just like make combos in the moment, freestyle combos. Like it was that, it was sessions. People were doing dance hall on the side. Like it was just that moment. I left there. I was like, yeah, and we took a big picture at the end. I said, yep, this is it. I was like, yep, I don't need,
Yes.
I don't, if I never learn a style again, I'm good. Like I said, this is it. Like it was clear as, and I told Havoc that I said, Havoc, I think this is it for me. I found it. Like this, whatever this was today, I love it. Like I fell in love with flexing that day. The culture, it was, I felt like I got all of flexing's culture in a night, like a good like
Mm.
chunk of it, and I got it, and I held on to that moment. And from there, I've labbed almost. I've not missed a week of flexuses. That like I'm telling you, like I'll find a way to just like even just a quick lab. Like I love it so much. Like I'll watch battles. I'll replay like old battles of my like old labs of myself. Just the music. I'm like I'll just listen to like no labbing. Just like put the music on in my head. It could be FDM rhythms. I'm just like just soaking it. I love the culture of it. It's less of just the style and the dance, but the culture of flexing. I love it all.
Yeah, there's something beautiful, man, when you really I love Crump. I really do. No matter how toxic it may be. It is the most toxic, wonderful girlfriend I've ever met. And it's just there's a beauty there. You remove the toxicity, and I have thankfully been able to be, in my personal opinion, the greatest Crump fam of all time. And we've been able to cultivate like sessions that, I'm very comfortable taking my kids to, very comfortable, experimenting even with my own expression.
Hmm.
And even, especially here recently, I've taken kind of a step back a little bit to show up to sessions and just watch.
Hmm.
Be that guy again who might dance once. I might, but I want to watch. I want to enjoy you, Crump, my
Yeah.
my wonderful thing. I would just want to enjoy you. You asked me for my life and I gave you my soul. Shout out Kobe Bryant, like,
Mm.
and so let me just enjoy you for just a minute, and just watch you exist and be amongst the people that are all doing this thing together, and I for every person who has that, who finds that, I think is extremely blessed
Hmm.
to find that home where they can, I getting older now. How old are you?
I'm 31.
31. Okay, so we're roughly the same age, man. I turned 34 this year, and you know we're not old, but we're getting we're big
We're not
we're
old.
big kids now.
We're not young. We're not old either.
I'm a big kid.
Yeah.
My kids will be like, oh, are they big kids? Like, no, I'm a big kid. They're still babies. Like, I'm big kid. Like, I'm not an adult yet. I'm a big kid. but I'm a big kid, man. And I think taking, I don't, I, and shout out to earlier, we're because we're speaking in the same frequency of, I don't want to take nothing for granted, man. And so being at these sessions, and I really see how blessed I am to, at this age, be in a place where I can enjoy myself. My kids can come and enjoy themselves, have their confidence built up. They go out there and dance and people are cheering for them, and they get all the kudos, and they get, instruction from other people, and they get, these wise words or words of encouragement and blah blah blah. How unbelievably, though, we are blessed, brother, to find a space where we can be us, like in our most authentic space, in the most authentic space that we've ever found, and to be our most authentic self. I think it's just a blessing. It's just, I don't know a better way to put it.
No, 100%. It is a blessing. However, I will say, because you mentioned toxicity, flexing might have a crump beat. I don't want to get into but I ain't gonna lie. Man, the you want to talk about blessings? I do think this is one thing that I will toot. I rarely toot my own horn, but I will say one thing I'm proud of is, amongst all that toxicity, still being able to find your own light and stay true to yourself and not give in, because it can be easy to give into that, especially when egos are involved and pride is involved. And dancing, especially battle scenes, can get very prideful, can get very competitive. And it kind of, that line between healthy competitive and toxic competitive, it gets blurred sometimes. So I will say that it's not easy, because with you, I feel like you with I'm assuming Beast Camp, right? Beast Camp, if I'm not
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's there from what outside looking in. Great, like great fam, great environment, great company. Like the way, shout out to Beast. Like I met him twice, and great human. But I just think for flexing, we don't have a lot of that. We have pockets of it. I won't say there's none, but there's pockets, and sometimes it can be hard to access that. It's not as readily available, like especially like platform wise. So, me and my boy Barrio, we talk about sometimes like having, just wherever we go, just being that, like just being that space, like providing and curating that space for flexors and just dancers in general, just who just want to go and express, have fun, avoid all the BS of the toxicity of the game, and how how much it can get like real head buddy. But yeah, it's just, I just want to speak on that real quick. It can be tough, but to those who stay the course and stay true to themselves, like it's very commendable. And everyone that does create spaces for people to be themselves and to bring your kids and inspire, even keeping whoever is saved, however you identify, however you whatever your gender, whatever, like having spaces to where people can actually just come and do the thing that we all love. Amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, there was a beautiful thing hearing you say, and shout out Jabari to you guys saying, be that wherever you go,
Hmm.
you know. And there was, me and Jabari actually talked about it a little bit, was, before, I used to have issue, like there was certain sessions I would avoid. There was certain things I would avoid because I understood the atmosphere that was going on there. And I understood it's a little hostile, right? And so instead of like shrinking my light, I'm going and being who I am
Hmm.
there. And if Monster Beast is hospitable, if he's respectable and friendly and he'll talk to whoever and cheer for whoever, I'm going to be that, even if this place, would spit on my name. If you guys would drag my fam's name, I mean, you ain't going to do it to me.
Hmm.
We'll battle about that. That's
Right.
cool. But even then, I'm not going to get into the jibber jabber, bro. I'm not, you're not gonna sit here and get me all riled up and excited. I'm already excited. I'm here. I
Mm,
love this. I love this thing. I'm already excited. If you want to battle, just say that. You don't have to call me all the names, bro. It's cool.
yeah.
Just we could skip that. I mean, if you need to say it, cool, but that's you. That's a you problem that you need to work out, not me, bro. I'm chilling. You want to battle corpse? That's a made up individual. Like he's not even he's not even real, bro. So we could battle. It's fine, and hopefully we could talk about it afterwards. Like I podcast, bro. I love to sit there and listen to people say what they need to say.
Hmm.
Uh, I'll listen to who I'd listen to a wall talk to me if it had eyeballs. Jesus, good God. But yeah, be that wherever you go. I love that, man. And I think dance in general needs a little revitalization of that. I feel like as though I don't want to say like it's losing its soul, because I refuse to accept that. But it's losing something where it feels as if everywhere I go, especially in LA.
Hmm.
And I don't know how it might be in Vegas, but it's like everyone's dressed to the nines, and it's very grip and grin. And you can see like the TikTok all stars is on this side of the wall, and all the Instagram all stars are on this side of the wall. And then there's like the culture heads right here. And I don't want to be in your video. Like, I came here to dance. We could talk about this after the session, bro. Like he's getting off. I want to watch this. Like, shut up. Like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, no. I do you guys experience that in Vegas as much? I know it's a Cali issue for sure. We have that here. Do you guys have something like that going on in Vegas?
Yeah. Uh, I will say there was a period. I've been here 3 years now, right? Yeah, 3 years now. Going on four, and I think it was a Vegas go. I don't know. Vegas is like Vegas goes through weather changes the way it goes through like the way the dance community goes. It's weird. When I first got here, I will say sessions, the people, everything was very like welcoming. Everything, the community was great. And then for like a good year, maybe a year and a half, not so. It was very showboaty. It was very like that. It was very clicky. It was like high school again. It was like you said, you have people like your people who stay in one team over here and then one team over here and then that and this person. Like it was just like it was very divide and conquer type of like it was like. And
Mm-hmm.
then people would go into sessions and then sessions wouldn't feel like sessions anymore. It would just feel like show and tell. Like, it'd be like very like, but me and anyone could tell you about me. Like, it don't matter who's dancing. If you're going, I show love no matter who you are, where you come from, what level you are, your age. I'm like you. Like, I just want to enjoy what's going on right now to where like I'll even go to battles and not enter. Like those are my like my pastime. Like I'll just go to battles. I'm like, I don't want to battle. I just want to watch. I want to geek out about people like just getting off, like just wilding. So it's that's just me. But now I would say the past couple months has been is we're getting back on track. It seems like it's mellowed out. Everyone is seems to be less. It's less. Argumentative, but it could be because there's not much going on too. So I don't know, but I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean. 'Cause I think the peak of it was when there were a lot more battles happening, a lot more events happening. But as of lately, there hasn't been as much as it was during its peak. So but it goes back to what you're saying about being that light because even in the midst of that, I agree that I'll go into spaces and knowing that that's what's going on and I could stay home, but I know I want to dance and I know I want to see some dancing. I'm a fan at the end. I'm a fan of dance at before anything else. So I'm still gonna go and I'm still just gonna be myself and just not let any of the BS toxicity, the he say she say whatever, and just just be myself, like just show love. Like I feel like showing love too is like the best way of combating that. It's not like feeding into it or like ignoring it. I think it's like sometimes like those badass kids just need a hug. Like sometimes I
Yeah.
just so yeah, that's how I approach it.
And I even heard you, I remember hearing you mention earlier, like going through a plateau and going through these plateaus, going through the weather changes, right? Of the great storm of dance. How do you keep yourself motivated and rooted during these seasons of change or lack of change? How do you keep that foundation steady?
Man, you asking me like these? If you have these questions written down, keep them for me because I'm not gonna lie. These are some great questions that like because they're things that I think about on a regular basis. So you ask that, and man, like I think I mentioned growing pains before, and I think that plays a big part in it as well. Because again, finding myself and my identity when you're not really rooted, you're not really have a sturdy foundation of like who you are and where you are and whatever environment you're in the style or in the city you're in or whatever it is. When you don't have that steady like being rooted, anything can you lose motivation. And I mentioned Bari because the Bari just seen most of it. Like I've cried. I've been on the ground just like defeated after battles. I'm just like losing. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't dance. Everyone goes, maybe I shouldn't dance anymore.
Mm.
Uh, like what am I even doing? And then like you tackle that on top of injuries, on top of financial issues, on top of girl problems. I was in a long distance relationship for most of my time in Vegas. But a lot of all those things on top of the community, going to battles and then seeing how people move, all those things can easily like, shake you. But now I'm just at a point, I would say the last 7 months, 7, 8 months, I think I found that sturdiness. I found my roots. I found where no matter what happens, you're not gonna really shake me too much. I have a toe injury right now. Like I really can't move too much. Before, like 2 years ago, I'd have been devastated. I'd been damn it, I can't. I want to get off. I can't. But now I'm like, I take every opportunity to either learn my body, learn different ways to dance, get my mind right. I look at everything as just opportunities to either, um, you know, bring it home, like bring it back to myself, or just spread love. Like maybe it's my time to just support the homies. Like maybe I should don't need to dance right now, maybe just support the homies. Um, but lately I haven't really. I can say I'm blessed where I haven't really had like a depressive spell with dance. And the longest time I would say like the longest gap it's been a while. I battled with sciatica for the longest as well. I still have it, but now it's just to a point where it's cool. But again, if I didn't take that time to just like learn my body and to just cool down, not rush everything, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Whereas when I was kind of like fighting the tide as opposed to just letting like, being surrendering to it, I would be in pain, I would get depressed, I would be angry. So it was weird how things just kind of, you know, sorted itself out as I just, calmed down, learned myself, got my emotions right, my mind right, and just, like I said, not taking things for granted. Like even in the midst of depressive states and like having your low, because it's gonna happen, you're gonna have low moments, but it's like seeing the low moments for what they are and not like the end all be all. Just because you have
Yeah.
a low moment is not like doesn't mean your career is over, doesn't mean you're a bad dancer, doesn't mean you can't make money, still doesn't mean you can't receive love and support. Like it's just when I realized that, it was like, oh, this is just I just feel like crap right now. It doesn't mean like my life is crap. Like it's just like when I learned that perspective is the biggest thing for me. And I think when you just shift your perspective a bit, you start to see things differently, and it's really not as bad as we usually think it to be. That's just my own opinion on that.
there's a beautiful thing in that, man, and in surrendering. I I used to laugh, right, when I would see like these yoga videos and like surrender, and they're like doing these crazy pose, it's like, what, but then I understood later on in life, um COVID era, I think, was kind of weird for all of us, right? But I definitely, this podcast really got kicked off in COVID, and it started off as a men's mental health awareness, right? I wanted to check in with my boys. We're all locked down, and unfortunately, I always shout out Dreams on this podcast because he unfortunately made the decision to take his own life, and it sent me through a really weird loop. And I stumbled across this podcast called Wisdom of the Sages, and they were yogi monks, right? They practiced yoga, and in the actual religion of it. And that was one thing that they would talk about a lot, was surrender. Like, when you're in this pose, like, surrendering is more than just breathing in and breathing out. It's like there's this, like, the tension in your muscle is also indicative to the tension in your mind, and that tension in your mind is also indicative of the tension of your being, your actual, the you underneath it, the corpse, right? And as I've went through dance, right, bro, battles, and you have the good wins, and you beat the guy that you didn't think you could, and then you get your ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, maybe I don't got it. Maybe I'm not that guy. And then you have some bad rounds, and then you take a couple L's back to back. It's like, dude, what am I? I'm 30 something now. What am I doing? Like, imposter syndrome sets in.
Mm-hmm.
And, clearly I'm still a sinner. But in my walk with Christ, man, in my walk with God, I've definitely found a new meaning of surrender where, even I was speaking before about it, where like I had this work ethic in me that if I just try hard enough, I can be like that. I could do that too. I could beat that, right? And then boom, I'm on the road working, and boom, I'm next closest session is 5 hours, and I ain't got no car, and ain't no one coming to pick me up. And next thing, it's like, well, there is no sessions here, and it's like, oh man, and God, why is this happening? And then injuries happen, and long distance relationships with nasty breakups happen, and it's like, wait, what? Like, why? Like, no, I could try harder, and then it's not coming out the way I remember the good ones would come out,
Mm-hmm.
and then learning, no, God is redirecting me, and his redirection isn't exactly, no, you can't dance anymore. It's, you're trying to zig, but you got to zag, or you're trying to zag, and I want you to zig. You're wanting to do X, Y, and Z. I want you to do A, B, and C.
Right.
Like, start there. Give it up. Like, give this part up. And so even with the back issues I'm dealing with now, bro, landed in the hospital a couple weeks ago with it, and I've been dealing with it for some time. But over the last year, it's just been insane. But still posting videos, still getting out there and saying, Jesse Sykes said it, and I think it's beautiful because it was like, I used to always tell, the kids I used to coach, dance like it's your first time. Like, be that excited. Be that excited every time you dance like it's your first time. Now, I'm stepping out there like it might be my last time. Like, this might be the last time I ever do this. So I'm going balls to the wall, like balls to the wall. And, thank you, God, for getting me this far, man. Like, and I think definitely for myself has been like my rooting factor was, my buddy Dreams, man. He was my top 5, easily top 3 favorite dancers that I would watch any given moment. And
Hmm.
I just wonder, like, I wonder the last time he danced, if he knew, like, because he knew he wanted to do the thing. So it's
Hmm.
like, did you know the last time you danced, you're like, hey, that was the last time I'm gonna do this. This is the last time ever. So now I walk in and it's like, you know what? Every time is my last one. And I'm surrendering it to God. And God willing, if he brings me back here next week, I'll do it all over again. I'll do it all over again until I can't. But that's good, man. I think a lot of young dancers these days, even kind of touching on an earlier thing, they're just so lost in the Instagram reels and TikTok and the YouTube and as the platforms change, it's like you kind of see how their movement also changes,
Hmm.
and you see how certain things about them begin to switch up too. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, you got to be like Avatar Airbender, bro. You got to control the wave. Don't let it control you. Don't get lost in the sauce. Um, and so looking forward, you have this experience. You're out in Vegas now. You're doing the thing. What is out on the horizon that you're hoping to accomplish? Let's say like within the next 3 to 5 years. Is there a project that you're working on now that you're hoping to see to come to fruition? Like what's out there in the future for Lowkey?
For me, I've always, man, I answer this question with like, it's some emotions behind it because, man, so there's a little backstory. When I was in college, I had this step team. I was on a step team, and that was when I discovered I had like a talent for seeing things before they were real, like as far as like projects, like videos, things like that. And this is, I don't know if you remember the Running Man challenge.
Mm-hmm.
The iBoo, like yeah. So I made a whole like it was like a mini, like the smallest like mini budget production with my step team doing it, but it was so funny. The whole school loved it. And that was when I was like, wow, I really like this. Like I thought of this, it was in my head and it was like I put it on video. Everyone was in their spots and it was like great. And then even when I had a team with Jabari and people back home, like we would do like team battles and performances and I would be the one putting organizing like the song and like what we should hit and we would do it and everyone would love it. I'm like, wow, I really love this. So I say that to say, like, I really want to. My goal has always been to make short films, um, but with obviously with dance. So with dance being the main like the core of it, I wanted to put all the ideas. I have like lists of songs and environment, like just backgrounds, and I really want to. I want to take my time, but obviously not take too much time. Um, and in building that because I look at I don't know John Buggs, but John Buggs, he's inspired me to where it's possible to put dance on a platform like mainstream media and win an award for it. And all I ever need to know is like it's possible. Like I feel like I already know it's possible, but then when I see someone do it, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's really possible. Oh yeah, like I'm just it's that drive I get from that, knowing that is it to me it's like I won't stop. So that's like that in the next 3 years I'm looking to put out like at least my first short film with dance. Um, and then push the boundaries. Like I'm all about pushing the boundaries, like putting dance with comedy, like making it funny. I look at Keone and Mari, like they make funny, cute, like relatable choreo and it's like it's never just like conventional so I just want to see what I can do like at Sean Liu like people who Ian Eastwood people who make high quality videos and projects and they push the boundaries of what you think dance could do. I'm trying to get in that lane and put it on video so yeah.
Yeah, the huge shout out to Keone and Mari Madrid. Um, I still remember watching their Smooth Operator piece, and like I had seen partner dances before. You know, you see them in movies and stage plays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Their level of creativity and the attention to the detail,
Mm-hmm.
like, was so insane. And I mean, everything they did with choreo cookies was so just light years ahead. I like the dance shows have always been cool. Yet when I found like choreo cookies, GRV, 220, SGBM, Academy of Villains, and
Mm-hmm.
all these different, community events, I would wait, on sitting on my hands, just waiting in front of the computer, just ready. Andrew Batterina, shout out my big bro, uh, dropped some of the craziest concept videos. Brian Puspos, some of
Mm-hmm.
the craziest concept videos that I didn't realize, like, oh, this could be a music video.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would, start scratching my head, like, oh, this is how they do it. This is how they come up with the music video. But these are just dudes that I take a dance class from, like these are the dudes who I've watched and learned choreo from. Like, oh, this is different. So yeah, man, like I really do, I really do think that, like, just seeing the stuff that you've posted and seeing your talent, I can definitely I can definitely see you pushing that envelope. And I still, matter of fact, me and one of the camp members were talking about how IDL, this big, do you know IDL, the dance competition?
No.
It's a big community dance competition, and they're really kind of starting to change the way that those things look.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like one on one, but in a bracket, and it's a dance competition, and it's really cool. Like it's a really cool concept, and it's new, and everybody's got a bright idea when it ain't their idea. But I was like, I just think that there's still, they're not getting all the juice from that squeeze. There's even the get down that Steezy's putting together that I absolutely love. It's like a warehouse vibe. Everybody's on the floor. The team comes out, they start dancing, and it's a really cool atmosphere. And I know so many of my friends who've been like, yo, why don't we shoot a music video like that? Or why don't we do a video like this? It's like, Steezy's actually doing a whole event just like that now. And even then, I still think there's some more juice that they can get from that squeeze. And dancers are just so creative. And I know you know this too from like sessions. Just you watch somebody, they do something sick, and it's like, I need to go home right now. Like, I need to go home right now and think about what they just did, and I need to lab, because it's just that little bit. You can just get that, the inch, you can get the yard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. 100%. It's funny you say that because a lot of times my reactions when I watch dances is that I need a second to process what I just watched. So I'll look away. It's bitter because I know I'm missing the next couple moves, but I need a second because that what you just did was so wild. I need, and then sometimes it's like I just want to go home and laugh. Like now, no, now I'm just gonna go home inspired now, and it's like, nah, I agree though. It's like, man, we're so it's almost like, I'm not gonna say it's a curse, but it's a blessing for sure. It's just a kind of blessing to where I think a lot of dancers don't, for whatever reason, they don't get that push to make that extra squeeze to get like everything you need to get out of an idea or out of an opportunity. And whether it is like, attention spans, or whether it is just like, trends and fads going in and out. I think, man, like, because you can think back to like when dance was like, when everyone was like focusing on Jabberwocky masks and things like that, like dancing in the street before YouTube was YouTube now, and Instagram. From then to now, it's like the level of creativity has grown exponentially, but then it's like there's very few people who want to, like I said, push that boundary of like, okay, like those ideas that get you things like Steezy, things like Fable. I don't know if you know Fable. Back in I think they started like Fable House over in Cali. It's like things like that,
Mm,
just like environments or platforms or certain battle form, like even certain battle formats. It's like I love when I hear new just new things that like, oh, I've never heard that. I want to go. Like I think was it Paris? Paris, they always doing something crazy, and I love it. They had a battle in a UFC ring. I think it was like,
yes.
yeah, I
Yeah.
almost like, wow, I would love to battle in a UFC. Like it was like, yo, actual cage, like a cage match. It's like things like that, man. And I just think like dance has the potential. I always say this. It has the potential to where it could be, on ESPN, like on any big platform, because it's consumed so heavily by people, people on social media, TikTok, whatever have you. It's just a matter of, again, push, like getting enough people and enough people to dare to dream and dream big and push big and act big to like get it to that point. Um, but yeah, that's just ideas. I think we've only scratched the surface when it comes to dance and the amount of things. Like I said, we just got John Book. Just won an Emmy off of being a choreographer. Like that's a street. That's a OG street dancer. Like popper. Like he just. I don't know. It's just so yeah. It's amazing to see, man.
Yeah, even with, shout out, big time shout out to that, because the little, and I've tried to say this more often now, especially in the way that I'm looking at dance and the way that I approach it, is there's a 15-year-old me that is just so happy, like being, I was fortunate enough, and I know a lot of people have opinions, but in 2017, I got to do a 5-day private with Tie Dyes. And, I slept on his floor of his house. And there was 15-year-old me like, yo, we made it. We
Hmm.
did it. Like we did it.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, dancing at the 818, dancing at the Carson spot, dancing over here and dancing with these guys and rubbing elbows with this dude, or, you know, bass fucking twin style rip was, or he's stylized now, it was living in Ventura and got in contact with me talking about, yo, I'm trying to come back to Crump, and I heard that you're the dude crumping out here in Oxnard, like, was good. It was like, how'd you get my number? Like, how did you even, what? Like, okay, of course, yes, we'll lab. And we labbed, and he came back, and then he's just doing it now out in Colombia. And, shout out my boy LeVar. But there's a part of me that is so happy. I'm definitely a person that can celebrate somebody else's success in a
Hmm.
real way, like in a really real way. Because just like you were saying, and I think it's kind of in the same vein as I see somebody accomplish it, and I'm like, okay, it's possible.
Hmm.
It is possible. You just practiced more than I did. You took the time to be more creative. You took the time to do this. You put the effort. You stayed psychotic about it, right? And obsessed. Like there's that level of obsession we have
Hmm.
to to make these things become real. And you just did that more than I'm doing it. So I just got to step my game up a little bit, and or maybe a lot of bit. I don't know. And I could do that too. Like it's very, there is an avenue for that. And so there's got to be more, right? There has to be another level, as all, you see the Tom Cruises and the friggin' John Travoltas and all these actors, Denzel Washingtons, and these people who win all these awards, and they just, they got shelves of awards. And that Emmy, though it is huge, it's one of
Yeah.
many that's out there.
Yeah.
And so now that that lane has been paved, there's
Hmm.
people like you and so many others, man, but people like you who will say, okay, that's possible. And that one to the right and that one to the left is
Yeah.
possible. I just got to chase it.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's when you back to my biggest perspective, when you change your perspective and you realize that we don't have to operate from a scarcity mindset and that
Mm-hmm.
abundance of opportunity, like it's an abundance, man. And when I say abundance, it's like the creativity, the fact that, just rewinding, the fact that we can get out there, hear a song that we probably never heard, whether we heard it before or not, and move our bodies to adapt in real time should show you the endless possibilities, because we're probably doing sequences of movements that we never did before, fresh off because the song inspired us to move, or the person who just went before us, I never thought about doing that, or we just subconsciously just took in and took a risk to do a new. It's like we're in real time doing things that, if we broke it down to some, would be impossible. Meaning that
Mm-hmm.
on any scale of creativity that we choose to, pursue, it's very much possible. So I'm a big advocate for uh dreaming big and acting big. Like actually
Yes.
like taking action that's just as big as your dreams. Because like you said, like we only get one of these things called life. And
Yes.
when you move with intention, meaning you move as if like tomorrow's not promised, because it's not. I don't want to leave anything left on the table. I don't want to leave anything on the table to where, like, okay, like I could have went here, I could have did this, just because I was holding back, and not because I'm living in regret, but more so I'm living under my means as far as action wise. I'm more so playing it safe. I'm more so, I don't know about that, or oh, maybe it doesn't work, or well, that person is like, no, like, if you have a dream, if you have an idea, God put that. I believe that when God puts an idea in your head, He gives you the tools to be able to get there. There's nothing, when you think about every creation, we're talking right now, you live miles away from me, bro. And we're talking right now,
Yes.
but someone had an idea. Hey, what if we had the ability to, talk through cameras, or just the idea of having internet everywhere where you don't have to have an Ethernet cable plugged to your computer? Like, these were all ideas that seemed impossible. The Wright brothers, come on now, like there were so many people who had ideas that they either were called insane for, they were called a witch for, they were hunted for. But it's like a lot of these ideas weren't they were just, they started out as ideas. So with dance, like you said, that's just one award, and there's many more that can be grabbed. It's just a matter of realizing your potential, realizing your power, like your God given talent is there for a reason. And there is no limits. There's no limit amount of likes or, reposts, nothing that can measure that work. It's boundless. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, there's and that's that there was a long talk that I had. A matter of fact, before every podcast I do, I always call my mom. She always has some crazy sage words for the day. I'm always like, "Ma, I got a podcast coming up, and this is it's a guy I've had a chance to meet through here or through there or blah blah blah." And she was talking about how there's we're all, like you were saying as well, right? Like we're all bestowed with these God-given talents. And I added into this conversation with something I've been really big about here recently is divine boldness
Hmm.
and being bold in these pursuits. I love to take my time to make sure that I glorify God in all things that I do. Um, I've said it at length, and I believe my true job on earth is to know God, glorify His name, make Him known to others.
Mhm.
And the way I do that is through this podcast and through my dancing, because those are two God-given talents that were given to me. I have the
Mhm.
ability to let somebody speak, listen to them. None of these questions I've asked were written down, right? Like these are things that come very naturally, and things I was already kind of curious about. Like I'm very, very passionately curious, like the way Albert Einstein said it.
Mhm.
Um, and there's a lot of stuff that I pick up on, and I like to pinch onto it. It's like I'm gonna ask about that later. Hold on, I'm gonna let them finish talking though.
Mhm.
And so when it comes to an idea, I hate when somebody hate's a powerful word, but I guess it's a powerful feeling too. It's I just despise this notion. It's like, well, I have this idea, but I don't know. It's like, well, what don't you know?
Mhm.
Like, what are you good at? Or what do you like doing? Or what are you too afraid to try?
Mhm.
Because that's where you should start. If it's because you're afraid to try something, start right there. Uh,
Mhm.
when I first got into Crump, I wanted to do hat moves and shoe moves because I was afraid to just be myself in my body and let that be expressive. So once once that theory really took hold of me, the corpse style was bred, and then next thing it's the happening started to happen. Um, Now I encourage all my friends and anybody I really come across. It's like, you got an idea, be bold about it, bro. Take
Mhm.
ownership of that idea, because if not, I'm gonna act on it now, because you just made the wheels in my head start spinning, because it's a good idea. Like, there's really no bad ideas except if you want to rob a bank, bro. Like, there's really no bad ideas, dog. Like, just try it. Like, why not? I'll help you. Get if the doing isn't your best attribute, but you know how to put people in a group to do it, do exactly that. Do
Yeah.
exactly that. Whatever it is, whatever God put inside of you, because it's trying to leak out with this idea. This idea is just a little pinhole in the top of your brain, and it's trying to leak out now. So just act on it, man. Be bold. Go out there and do it, and God will make up the difference. What was it? She goes, my mom says, God doesn't choose. Well, yeah, God doesn't choose the anointed, he anoints the chosen. So it's like,
Mhm.
God, man. All right.
Yeah.
Cause I get imposter syndrome with a lot of stuff that I deal with. And it's, she's like, baby, he don't choose anointed. He doesn't choose kings. He chooses shepherds and carpenters. It's like, okay. All right, all
Mhm.
right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right, Ma. You got me. You got me. So yeah,
Uh,
man. I would love to watch as that journey happens for you, man, and that you accomplish those things, dude. Because I have the utmost faith, man, and confidence that you'll be able to do it.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So just like you said, be bold. Like be bold about it. That's I'm taking that what you just said. I'm taking that and keeping that because yeah, I think I could be a little more bold in that department. So yeah.
Yeah, man. And you have just know, dude, that you have a supporter and a cheerleader here. And whenever you make it big and you need a janitor in your mansion, I got you. I got you.
uh,
But check it out, Lowkey, man. I want to play a game with you. I want to leave some space too for another episode, because this has been awesome. I've had a good time, and it's been a pleasure sitting down and chatting with you. But but I definitely want to leave some space for a part two. You think we'll get a part two in?
100%, man, 100%.
Hell yeah. So check it out. There's a game I like to play, about about 6, 7 questions, right? It's like a real rapid fire, one word answers. Uh, some of them, obviously, they'll take a couple more words, but I try to keep it short and sweet. First thing that comes to your head. Are you down to play?
Yes, sir.
All right, so check it out. First one. Which one do you enjoy more? An early morning walk or a late night stroll?
Early morning walk.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Favorite sound?
Nature.
Favorite way to unwind?
Journaling.
Mountains or beaches?
Mountains.
Go-to travel place?
Canada.
Ooh. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Funny, nerdy, grounded.
Mm, your deepest fear.
Not realizing my potential.
Greatest accomplishment.
My the state of my current mental health.
Nice. And for everybody watching, past, present, and future, some wise words from the one and only Obi Lowkey Williams. What do you got for him?
Stay true to yourself. Who you are is who you are. There will never be another one like you. And that is by design, that is by nature. And don't ignore that voice inside of you. Never second guess yourself. You are here for a reason. And always lead with love.
My man. Thank you so much, bro. From truly from the depths of my heart, from me to you. Thank you for being on the show, bro. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, if you want to drop your Instagrams, TikTok, Twitter, the space
Yeah,
is yours.
yeah, I am on only social media. I'm on Instagram underscore Lowkey Williams. Oh, YouTube as well. Lowkey Williams, just regular. I have like 2 videos on there, but yeah. Yep.
Alrighty, brother. Thank you. I'm gonna send you a message right now on Instagram and we'll chop it up some more.
All right, sounds good, man. Appreciate
Alrighty,
you.
brother. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
You guys, that is the one, the only. I'm telling you, Obi Lowkey Williams. Wonderful show, wonderful dude. Yeah, and those last wise words, and man, even the biggest fear. Like, there's that long quote of, "What is our deepest fear? Is it that we are inadequate, or that we are powerful beyond measure?" And being yourself, like, there is nothing more than I think than that really brings light to the world than when you are that light to the world and you let it shine through you. I want to know you. I want to see you. And so, riding off of that, understand your power. Whether you're a dancer, writer, mechanic, electrician, there's something inside of you that was made so unique, so profound. And it is your job to share that with me, to share that with others around you. You do not have to put on these personas of the world, these masks that we all choose to hide behind. Be you. I sit in front of this microphone and I'm me, man. I'm me. Be you. I love you for you. Matter of fact, this is one of the ways I want to start signing out. So I hope you guys have a good day, week, month, year in life. Until next time, stay motivated.